Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's ready with mine. Come on. Oh, oh. This is how we doing it. This is how we doing this Wednesday night in our nation's capital. And we're gonna do it something like this. Come on in this house. Come on in this house. Come on. Yeah. Come on. This is how we do. This is how we do. Check it out. Can you smell it? Can you smell it? Come on in this house. It's time for us to ruminate, elevate, and activate. Time to go to another height, another level of growth and excellence in purpose. So what we're gonna do? Come on. Yeah. This is how we do. Come on in this house. As usual, here's a toast to you the most. Your host, G. Alpha Palmer. Oh yeah. That's good. Nothing like some music to get us started. On this hump day. Going downhill from here. Come on. All right. It's time for us to get ready. Oh yeah. Be right back with you. Let's get started.
In our current global climate, we're facing challenges never before experienced by this generation. Oppositions where no one seems to have clear directions or answers to the risks facing us. Confrontations like racial and gender unrest, political gerrymandering, toxic leadership, economic crisis, global pandemic, health threats, pre-existing medical conditions, isolation, boredom, and loneliness are driving people to desperation. As a result, people are confused, afraid, anxious, and perplexed, and they need answers to some tough questions and even tougher situations. They are looking into different outlets for answers to gain assurance and consolation. Some have drawn closer to the embrace of family, while others look more towards their friendships, education, and even religion. What we need is a fresh voice of truth and clarity, and not a stale religious echo from the past. There's a re-emerging voice on the horizon that isn't afraid to stand alone and give spiritual and mentally sound direction to a world searching for answers. G. Alfred Palmer offers a voice of sound human development and empowerment to those willing to hear. There's a need for new ideas to old principles, a perspective from a timeless origin, but with current vision, a thought leader who understands what it means to stand alone and speak truth when some are hard of hearing. But if you've been waiting to hear a voice that opens the gates of freedom and breaks the shackles of confusion to allow you to step forward into the dawning of a new and exciting future, then it's time to bridge the gap with Dr. G. Alfred Palmer. He is a dynamic speaker, thought leader, and entrepreneur, equipped to elevate, expand, and extend the development, empowerment, and leadership of his audiences. He stands ready to speak at your next event. His delivery is guaranteed to refresh, entertain, and transform. G. Alfred Palmer bridges the gap from uncertainty to the purpose, to passion, and leadership. Book him today for your next event, and you won't be disappointed.
Well, welcome once again to the Red Hot Mic. I am your host, G. Alfred Palmer, and it is my pleasure to be with you one more time. I'm really excited about being here. Let me see if I can get a little closer to the microphone. I don't want you not be able to hear me. I am really excited about being with you once again as I prepare to 1 week from today to go on vacation. Want to go and do some things out west and then come on back. It's really interesting because, with COVID, we were kind of restricted to what our movements, and now being able to move about is something that I'm really, really glad about. Excuse me. Well, if you would, I ask you to, once again, to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell as we continue to move forward and grow this channel with your help. I need your help. I need you to do that for me right now. Would you do that for me right now? Subscribe, hit the like, hit the share, and then hit the notification bell. Please do that right now. I'm going to give you a chance to do it before we move on. And I appreciate it so very much. It's one of those things to get rid of some of the lights because I like lights. I don't want it to be too distracting to you. I'm appreciative to you coming and spending some time with me because I know without a shadow of doubt there's other things that you could be doing tonight other than being with me. But I do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to sit with me. I want to talk about something. There's a lot going on, and I want to just, before we get started, I want to talk about what's going on, because again, it's the whole idea that, one of the things that I try to do is to not be hasty in what I bring to this channel. I want it to be something that I've ruminated on, caused me to elevate, and it continue to elevate, and things that I'm activating in my own life. So I want to try to continue to share that way. And so what I do is, as a watchman that stands upon the wall, what I try to do is to get up upon the wall and look out. And I'm sure you are seeing some of the same things probably that I am. Maybe you aren't. I don't know. Maybe you're seeing more. I don't know. But I can only speak for me because in what I've been called to do, sent to do. And what I'm seeing is a lot of confusion. Aren't you seeing that? Are you seeing a lot of confusion that is out there right now? A lot of confusion in the sense that it seems like rather than things getting better, there seems to be more confusion. And I think one of the things that we need to really be cautious how we hear becomes more and more prudent and more important is the word I'm looking for. It's important that we begin to be more and more mindful of how we hear. and what we see. Now, what we're seeing, what we're hearing now, there seems to be stimuli coming from a myriad of different ways, different things that are going on, and everything from gun control to Roe versus Wade to uh, notable preachers changing their minds about tithes and offerings, and it goes on and on and on. And so what we've got to do is we've got to learn to hear. You got to learn to hear, and hearing is important to hear outside of your own individual paradigm or outside of what you deem as being what you thought as being right, if that makes sense. Because the bottom line is most of the time, the very things that you're hearing are the impediment that's really in your way. And even if it's not, it's okay to put that thing down and pick something up in the store, in the general store of life, and to observe it and see if it's something, or maybe just try it on and see if you like the way it fits. And if you don't, you can take it off, put it back, and pick up again what you had. But sometimes I would challenge you to and say this, that most of the time when you try on something else, it's because you've reached a place where what you've had doesn't fit the way that it used to. Right? And it's time to try on something new for some reason. Maybe you've grown, right? and that growth may have taken place because of different reasons, whatever those reasons are, but you've grown, you've changed. And so it's now time for you to elevate, right? And the only way we do that is to ruminate over something different than what we've been used to hearing. So we don't have to be a fearful, right? Or be doubtful of trying something else on. When we try on clothes, it's not that we're doubtful. We want to see, we like it, and we want to see if it's something that fits. And if it doesn't, we put that particular thing down and we continue on with what we have, right? So it's like that. So what we're seeing now is a gender war, and it seems to be manifesting itself in a myriad of ways, and it's time for people to have understanding of fresh ideas over fresh thoughts over new ideas or old ideas, if you get my drift. Old ideas need to be updated with new thought so that it can come forth and still be pertinent for those that are in this particular time, this chronos. So it becomes important for us that that understand how to make that transference from an old idea to something that's new, so that people can begin to understand and appreciate and grasp the old, because there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing's new. We may think it is, but it's not. It's not. It's just a new take on an old way of doing things. It's not different. So what we've got to do is, to those that have an understanding of old principles, old ideas, it's time for you to put a new spin on it and to begin to get vocal. There's so many of us are just sitting around and not being vocal. We're letting other people dictate the culture. And what we're doing is we're being intimidated by what people are saying about us, and saying that we're this, or labeling us to be that. And so rather than to do that and be labeled that, we won't say anything. Well, it's time for us to say something. It's time for us to speak out against the ills of our community, culture, and clan. Because if we don't, it will get worse. It will get worse, and it will get worse. So what we've got to do is to stand up and be intrepid, audacious, in speaking what needs to be said to this culture. So tonight we're going to do some of that. Of course, I love music, so I always have to bring music. And listen, I've loved music since I was a child. And some people say, well, you shouldn't. I mean, aren't you too old for that? No, you're never too old to love music. You're never too old for that. I don't care who you are. Loving the love of music, if it brings joy to your heart, then that's something that's more important than anything else. So I like starting the show with music, and that's important. And I've always done that. And the next thing I want to do, I want to talk about our fragrance for tonight and for this evening. And I picked three. I picked three of them, but I'm only going to do one. And I'm hoping that it's something I haven't done before, because I think I've done this one before. I'm almost sure I have. This is Prada Luna Rosa EDT. We've done that one before. I remember this one, I think, and it was very, very good one. I think I really, really like this one. I got two new ones that I think that may be very, I don't know, we'll see. English Laundry Throne. Okay, and then the other one that we have here tonight, I'm not sure, but I think we've done this one before, is Bentley for Men by Azure. So I think we've done this one. So I'm going to try. I'm trying to find fragrances that are more citrusy and more appropriate for the season that we're in, because right now, it's summertime, and so you don't want someone to. I mean, I think, for me, in listening to other folks talk about fragrances, because I have to admit I'm not the most profound knowledge. But what I'm trying to do is to not so much get the woodsy scents right now, because I think that those are more for the fall and the winter. More trying to get more flowery scents, and more fruity scents, more citrusy kinds of scents as well. So I'm going to give this English Laundry Throne. It says here that throne is a masculine harmony of power and sensuality. This fine fragrance is carefully crafted using a collection of exotic notes. Okay, and some of the notes are bergamot, green apple, water lily, blue lavender, and amberette. Amberette. I'm not sure what these are. Amberette is. I'm not too knowledgeable of that one. But we're going to hopefully there seems to be some citrus in it, along with the bergamot and the apple. There is a flowery scent with the water lily and the blue lavender. So we'll see. We'll see what this is. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. You know what I try to do is to not test them until we get on the air next, to so I can give an honest and immediate kind of. Okay, I really like this. This is a very soft scent. It has a citrusy smell in the first note. I believe that's what it would be called. And then it kind of, in the middle, it gets kind of, you sense the flowery piece. The flowery piece. And that's it. I like that. I guess the amberette is at the final note, I believe. I'm not sure, but I like it. I like it because it's not very strong. It's pretty mild scent. It's not overpowering. It doesn't seem to carry, it's not one of those kind of scents that's going to stay in the room when you leave. It kind of seems to be soft enough and fading enough that you really need to be up close to be able to smell it. So yeah, I like it. I like that scent. Yes, so I'm excited about what we're going to talk about tonight. I am. So what I want to do is take a moment here and get us settled into what we need to move forward. Let's go here. And we're going to get ready to share with you what we do each time we come to Answer Wheel. We're going to get ready to do that. And we're going to add the Answer Wheel in here with us. And again, when we do the Answer Wheel, what we always try to do is we try to give you an opportunity to have an answer to a question that you may have been wrestling with. And what we do with the Answer Wheel is we allow the wheel to answer your questions. I don't do anything but just move the wheel, and once the wheel gets to where it's going to get, it's going to stop. Now the answers are: try again, ask a friend, yes, maybe, and definitely, and then lastly, no way. So as we get ready to allow the Answer Wheel to give us an answer to our particular question that we might be wrestling or toiling with, I'm going to ask you once again, would you subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell? Would you do that for us? It would be very, 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 very helpful for us. Let me get some of this music down a little bit. Let's get that down a little bit. So, I need your help. I need your help to further the station. I know there's going to be people out there that may not really be feeling this. I get it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but neither are you. But who is? I mean, so what we've got to do is do what we're supposed to do for those that we're supposed to do it for. Okay? And so that's what I'm doing for those that I'm supposed to be doing it for. And it's not to put down anyone, but it is to do what I'm supposed to do. So we're going to do the Answer Wheel. So getting in your mind that particular question that's been coming and nagging, hasn't left you, it just keeps coming. So you want an answer, but you want someone to give you an answer, but the answer is in you. So here we go. We're going to give you an answer. We're going to allow the Answer Wheel to do that for you. And so here we go. And again, I don't touch it. I just let the Answer Wheel go, and it'll eventually go to a particular answer, and that answer will be hopefully something that you'll find useful in your life. Okay, I'm hoping that it is, and it seems to be going around and around, doesn't it? Okay. Tonight, your answer is definite. It's definite. Definitely, whatever that means. It means that, let me get some things out of the way here. It says definitely tonight. So the answer to your particular question tonight is definitely. Definitely, whatever it is. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Definitely is more assertive and stronger than a yes. I mean, it definitely means without any question. Almost you need to do that, right? It's more than just yes. It's like definitely you really need to do that. Whatever that is, you really need to do it. And the answer is saying definitely. Not yes, but definitely. So it's time for you to begin to do that. And it means right away. It doesn't mean for you to wait around and wait for something else to occur. Definitely means be assertive. Go forward and begin to move out and do what it is that you're supposed to do. Okay? So in doing that, as you move out to do what you're supposed to do, I believe that the universe will meet you, especially when it's a definite. When it's definitely, that means everything really is in alignment, waiting on you. You know, a lot of times the very thing we're looking for is waiting on us. And when we look at definitely is saying, I'm waiting on you. Yes, that's what you need to do. And you need to do that now, whatever that is. I don't know. But I want to encourage you tonight that you should definitely do that. Now, if it's something that's going to be profitable, if it's something that's not going to harm anyone, right? Nothing that's going to be illegal, definitely do it. I'll say that again. As long as it doesn't harm anyone, as long as it's not illegal, and it's beneficial for you, and it enhances your safety, your security, and your edification, yes, do that. But you don't want to harm people. As best as you can. You don't harm people. You don't do things that are illegal, right? Some people think that that's, if you do something illegal, that's okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. The universe cannot operate with you in that way. So it's got to be lawful, legitimate, and legal. Right? But I'm glad that you got it definitely. That's a powerful answer. Definitely. So it's time for you to get up, dust yourself off, and to move forward. Because you got it definitely. Right? Well, anyway, I like this part. You know, I like it for a number of reasons. I like it because it gives me a chance to settle down after a long, arduous day. After smelling a nice scent, drinking some pomegranate juice, sitting here listening to some really relaxing music, it brings me to a place. It brings me to a really good place. And I'm ready to move on to the rest of the broadcast because I believe that I found my balance. So I'm encouraged. I hope you are. I need your help. I need your help in order for this to go further. I need your help. I need you to subscribe. I need you to subscribe. I need you to like. I need you to share and hit the notification bell. I need you to do that for me. Would you do that for me? I really, really appreciate it. Would you do that right now? Would you do that right now? I'm so grateful for you. I really, really am. So let's get to it, right? Let's get to it. You know, This particular things be running away from me. Okay. Now, if you look at the bottom of the screen, well, I changed it. Tonight's subject is the demise of the Y chromosome. I know that sounds crazy. You're like, what in the world is you talking about? What are you talking about? Let me get rid of some sounds here. Okay. You're like, what in the world are you talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is, first of all, let me say this. This just came to me. I need to say this. I know that I would love to open the chat so that we can discuss some things. And the only way that we can do that is I put the email address. I put the email address in the ticker. And if you were to send me an email, I will send you the link to the broadcast so that we can exchange and talk. Maybe you want to talk about something that we're talking about relative to the topic. And if you want to do that, we can do that. And in order to do that, I need you to be able to contact me. And that's how you can do it at the Gmail address that's attached to the ticker going underneath the bottom where it says email. Just email me and just say, I would like the link, and I will send you the link, and I'll make sure you get the link for the program so that you can come alongside of us as we go down and matriculate down this particular highway. Okay. The demise of the Y chromosome. What are you talking about? Okay, well, I need to say this to you. Standing on the wall, you see a lot of things. You see things in the distance. You see things just coming over the horizon. You see things that are midway between the horizon and your location. And you see things that are very, very close and very, very crystal clear as to what the challenge that may be presented by that particular thing. Okay? So, when it comes to one of the things that we're seeing in the media is we're seeing a lot around the whole subject of children, birthright. We're seeing a lot around the issue of male, female, boy, girl. We're seeing a lot around gender, right? We're seeing a lot around gender. And you got people who have issues, and you have people who have concerns, and you have people that have opinions. I want to talk tonight about this whole idea of what I'm seeing from a certain portion of the culture. And I think that it's been in our face for a long time. However, it's beginning to get, it's not even beginning to get, it's very organized, and it is very tactical. It's very resourceful, and it looks to control, to dominate, and to excavate some things, old principles and old ideas, and get rid of them. And some of those principles aren't to be gotten rid of. And again, so I have to give voice to some things that may upset some folks. But again, my intent is not to upset folks, but it is to be a voice and not to be an echo. So the things that I'm going to talk about, I've talked about in some shape, form, or fashion, but I'm going to elaborate from another perspective. Why am I talking about the Y chromosome? Why not the X? Because, well, let's talk about it. Now, when we talk about chromosomes, let's define what a chromosome is. Chromosome is the structure found inside the nucleus of a cell. And a chromosome is made up of proteins and DNA organized within genes or organized into genes. Now, it's important for us to understand that chromosomes help us to identify ourselves and gives us certain aspects of who we are, certain aspects of building blocks of who we are. And it's important that we understand that these chromosomes play a very, very important role. Now, the idea of chromosomes, as far as I'm been made aware of, and I could be wrong with this, but a female researcher by the name of Nettie Stevens, who came up first with this idea of the XY chromosomes, which she determined when she was trying to do research on sex determination in insects. Now, I have issues with that because you're not an insect, I'm not an insect, but I get the idea of her being thoughtful enough to do the research. Now, it's when we start talking about chromosomes, we have to talk about the building block within the chromosome, and that's DNA. And it's called the oxyribonucleic acid. Okay. Now, this DNA are the very chains of building blocks within the organized gene or the chromosome. Okay. Now, it's important that we understand that the DNA is what identifies who you are. The chromosomes, the DNA is inside the chromosomes, right? And so it's important for us to understand that the DNA and is very, very, very important. The DNA is very, very important to the point that they want you to think, some folks out there want you to think that DNA is determined by certain temperatures, certain regions, certain environments. No. They want to try to make you think that DNA is, and now I get it. DNA is a scientific, is science, right? And it's but beyond science is something else. Principles, divine principles dictate to DNA. Okay, you don't come here and then develop the DNA. No. They want you to think that. But what happens is you come here because of the principle that has called you to be here. What is that principle? Principle of purpose. Purpose is set you here. Okay. You don't get ready after you get here. You are already equipped. And what we have to do is understand that we are already equipped. So the DNA comes, okay? The DNA within the chromosomes, okay, play a vital role in us being who we are. It's our DNA that and our DNA, if you look at your fingerprint, every thumbprint has a different one. I don't care who they are. No one has the same thumbprint as you. No one. Not in the 8 billion people on this planet, no one has your thumbprint. Your thumbprint is a physical representation of your purpose. It's a physical representation of your personhood and your individuality. Now, if you think about it, if you really think about it, there's 8 billion people. And out of 8 billion people, no one has the same fingerprint. Do you know how incredible that idea is? That is an incredible, incredible idea that no one has the same purpose. No one has the same thumbprint. No one has the same makeup, not even twins. Okay? Now, when we start talking about chromosomes, okay, there's we receive 23 chromosomes from our mother and 23 chromosomes from our father. Now, these chromosomes, within these chromosomes are our DNA and genes and so forth that help make us and define us. But that last chromosome determines gender. Now, this is the particular chromosome that is under attack by some folks right now that are trying to say that there's different reasons why that and different things that can take place relative to this particular chromosome. They're trying to say that the weakest part of this last pair of chromosomes is the Y chromosome. And they're saying that the Y chromosome is the weakest because the Y chromosome is the masculine chromosome. And they want you to believe this. The weakest. I totally disagree with that. There's nothing weak about any man here. Look at men. Look at how we're built, how we come into this world, and yet you're gonna try to determine that we're weak. No, that's the idea of someone that doesn't like masculinity for whatever reason. They have some other type of agenda, right? Because the bottom line is this: masculinity are the most critical elements in this particular sphere. It is. And I can tell you why. Because the bottom line is masculine brought feminine into this realm. Masculine, I'll say it again, masculine brought feminine into this realm. Masculine, the reason why I say that is that masculine brought feminine into this realm is because everything has to come into this realm legally and legitimately. Legally and legitimately. And remember, I always say that the biblical narrative is not a religious book, but it is a book that's Bible, basic instruction about living effectively. It's not a religious book, but we've made it one. But here's the truth of the matter. Masculine brought feminine, covered feminine, to allow feminine to come into this sphere. Why? Because feminine does not have the structure to pierce, insert, inject, penetrate. It only can receive, incubate, secure, and protect. So in order for it to come into this sphere, it had to come covered with the assistance of masculine. When it broke through and came into this sphere, once it came into this sphere, masculine and feminine had to put on individual body, fleshly body, because nothing can function and operate in this sphere without a body. It has to have a body. Masculine, feminine. If you want to understand how something, if it's masculine, feminine, look how it functions and operates. Masculine and feminine operate differently. Like I said, masculine penetrates, pierces, inserts, and injects, whereas feminine, it receives, incubates, protects, and secures. So feminine could not penetrate to come legally into this sphere because it would have to penetrate, and that is not a feminine function. So it would have been illegal for feminine to come on its own. It needed the assistance of masculine. So masculine brought feminine, but once it come through the threshold of what we call the heavens, now it has to put on a body, because that's the difference. Because once it enters the heavens, science becomes the mode and the operation and the functionality for legality, legalness, and legitimacy. Scientific methodology. Femininity, it puts on femininity, and it puts on masculinity. The feminine takes off the E and puts on the ITY. ITY means the process of. It means the operation of. Okay, feminine in operation, but it's the working of it. Whereas feminine is the idea and the structure of it. Oh, you don't hear me. It's the same thing with masculine. Masculine takes off the E and puts on the ITY. It is the process of, and the function and the operation of masculinity. So these folks who say that we're going to get rid of, or that masculinity is going to do away with itself. It's going to go away. And what these people are doing are using experiments from frogs and turtles and worms and insects, and telling us that is justification to show that we, as the highest level of creation on this planet, is to be equated with worms, frogs, turtles, and insects. That's insanity. That's insanity. I don't care what you say. See, it's going to take, you're going to still have to use your faith to believe it. I choose not to believe no nonsense like that. So yes, I believe the biblical narrative. I do. Whether you do or not. Now, listen, the biblical narrative is not a book used to enforce us to force us into slavery. Now, that they've used it, but you can use any book to through interpretation or misinterpretation to say anything. Right? You can do it. You can do that with anything. We're looking at, there's 23 and 23, right? We get 23 from our, we get 22 from each parent, or 23 actually. And that last pair is gender. Now, here's what's important. Here's why you can't do away with gender, with masculine, or the Y chromosome, right? Some folks are saying that you can do away with the Y chromosome, and you can get, because of turtles and frogs, you can get that have the ability to not have a Y chromosome, that we can too not have a Y chromosome. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. The Y chromosome is what legitimizes and legally makes masculinity in this realm possible. So that Y chromosome is masculinity. It cannot be done away with. That masculine chromosome is what determines gender. Now understand this. I'm going to use the biblical narrative once again. Listen, the X chromosome, what happened when Adam came into this sphere, after he was looking around and saw that he had no mate, that no proper or no fit partner or mate, not partner, mate, he realized that he wasn't able to have, and shouldn't have, and it's not illegal to have relationships with animals. And because of that, what Adam did, he came into the awareness that he needed a mate. Now, the Creator already knew he needed a mate. He just was waiting for him to come into the knowledge that he needed the mate. He was waiting for Adam to awaken to that idea. Much of the time, what the Creator is doing is waiting for you and I to wake up to certain things. So here is Adam, who has the XY chromosome. So when he's put to sleep, what's taken from him is not the Y, right? But what's given to Eve is the X, or part of the X. Man can't live without, he can't be without the X. So they both have to have X chromosome. But what happened is the Creator took Eve and gave her the other X to differentiate her from the man. He had XY, she had XX. Now, it's important to understand this. A woman only carries one gene, and it's X. It's X. She carries two of them, but it's still X. It's XX. So a woman cannot bring about a child on her own. A man cannot bring about a child on his own. But here's what a man does. A man determines the gender of the child. The man determines the gender of the child, not the woman. The man does. Because if you take an X, right? If you take an X and you get and from him and then take an X from her, that's going to be a girl. Right? That's going to be a girl. But if you take an X from her and a Y from him, that's going to be a boy. So the determining factor is what comes from the man. The man determines gender. So this idea of the demise of the Y chromosome is heretical. It's demonic. It's unsubstantiated, and it is unbiblical. So, us understanding this, we are the same. Excuse me, I'll say that again. We are equal, but not the same. We are equal, but not the same. She's XX, we're XY. Equal, but not the same. You can't have an X without a girl, and with the man, the man can either give the X or the Y, but the woman only has one to give, and that's the X. So determine, and I'm of the mindset that the X was that DNA that Adam gave Eve when he was put to sleep, and he gave and the rib was taken out. That rib represents DNA. That rib represents the X chromosome. That piece of man that was given to woman that causes us to be equal, but not the same. She holds the X, we hold the XY. And even to the point that she holds the X, we hold the Y, if you look at it that way. But we hold the XY because she has to have what we've given to her. Right? So and when I tell people all this, they get upset because I say that woman comes from man. Woman comes from man. That's why a man has a right to speak into your life, because he is the original source that woman's come from. Two becomes one. Adam said, "This is flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone," because he realized she had his DNA. So he has the ability to speak into her life because he's the source. She's the resource. A resource does not speak into the life of, or direct, or understand its source. The source directs the resource, not the resource, the source. Now, someone will say, well, that's misogynistic, that's chauvinistic. No, it's not. It's not. I didn't write it. I did not write it, but it is what it is. But what we want to try to do is change what's been done and what is the truth of how we got here. There are people that are trying to change the very narrative that we hold true. Excuse me. Be weary and leery of those kinds of people. They have hidden motives. Hidden motives. Now, why? Why is it important that we maintain this XY and XX chromosome? Here's why. Because in this order lies the dominion mandate and gives us the ability to live and to have dominion over everything in this realm. But there are people who don't want, they think that, we can change the science. No, you can't. You can't change the science. Some folks says, well, this is why I hear guys say this all the time. This is why, women were supposed to be quiet in the church because of this kind of strange thinking and ideas that come as a result of them trying to usurp leadership. Could be. Someone would contend that I'm chauvinistic, misogynistic. But I'm just saying what the biblical narrative says. So how can I? And you have to be careful. Be careful what you come up against with your tongue or your deeds. Be careful. You must be careful. Well, I'm trying to cut down on these broadcasts because I want people to watch them. And what's happening is they're so long, I don't think people are watching. Not the way that I would like to see them watch. Which is why I need you to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell, right? Right. But anyway, we're equal, but not the same. We need her. She needs us. And everything else is rhetoric. Rhetoric. So, there is no demise of the Y chromosome. It's impossible. It is no way that can happen. It's not feasible for humanity to continue. You're not going to get W chromosomes or M chromosomes or whatever from animals and create people. Are you serious? There are people that believe this. There are people that believe this. Imagine the lunacy. It's ludicrous. It's lunacy. It really is. But this is what some people think. And this is what they're purporting and they're sharing. And what we've got to do, you got to stand up and call them on this stuff. We have to. I don't care what you call me. You can call me whatever you want to call me. That doesn't make it so. But what we're doing is we're being intimidated. We're being intimidated by what other people will say about us. Because they're going to call you phobic in some shape, form, or fashion. Well, I could say the same thing. I can say the same thing. But the truth of the matter is, statistically, the data and the information coincides with what I just shared with you tonight. Overwhelmingly. There's science to back up everything I said. Everything I said, there's science out there. Well, I want to thank you for being with me. And once again, I want to ask you to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell. And until the next time we come together, this is Dr. G. Alpha Palmer saying, peace.